What's up, everybody? Rob Nakamura here with the High Chief, Zac Pauga, and special guest, Korean John. What's up, brothers? How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing
All right.
good.
So that intro, a little silent, didn't have audio, but you guys saw it. It was Dirty Tactics. And that is the Easter egg of this episode. That is the theme of this episode. Dirty Tactics, where you get away with it and it still works and nothing happens. So that's kind of the thing we're running on. What you thinking, bro?
So that was freestyle wrestling, right? That's freestyle wrestling. That's called a butt drag. It's a move. As long as you keep it to 4 fingers, that's legal. That's not dirty. That's completely legal. It's when you slip it to one that's a problem. I used to train with Neil Melanson. He was Randy Couture's grappling coach. The best grappling coach that exists out there. Google him. He's the best. And he used to say, you can control any man by his asshole.
That is a phrase. Holy shit. That is a phrase. I don't think
It sounds like something you'd see on the bathroom wall of a gay club.
yeah. Or inside of a jail somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that. I just learned something that 4 fingers.
4 fingers. That's
4
legal,
fingers is
legal, illegal, right?
Legal, illegal.
So 4 fingers like this is
You
legal.
can dig in there. You can grab.
Oh
so
my God.
It's called a butt drag. You literally are supposed to grab the butt cheek and like pull them off of you. And some people dig in there. I know we're having fun here. We're being funny. It's a really good takedown technique or takedown defense technique.
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, that's one of the ways you unlock pit bulls when they lock jaw is to do that. So, all right. Well, there you go, folks. We're learning stuff as usual. Zach has some great information for us. So we're learning stuff right away. This episode is full of some contentious, dramatic stuff, maybe even some stuff that'll make us angry and opinionated, because that's the point. That's why we're here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up nice and early. And I'm not really sure if I want to start off fun or just get into the serious stuff, but whatever. I'm gonna do something nice. I want to do something cool. Since the first one was just intense, here's a just cool highlight that happened on Friday. Yes, Friday from CFFC. It's real basic, but enjoy it.
They talk about a lot as well. He's good and relaxed.
Oh my goodness!
Kick.
Oh, he's done! Oh my gosh! Whoa!
One shin to the chin, and it's all over with. Just nasty highlight head kick. I think we can all just appreciate someone getting detonated. Nope.
Head kick KOs are always highlights. It's I don't know why it's so much different than a punch, but it's always a highlight. The head kick KO is one of the sweetest KOs in sports.
That's it. John, did you catch any of the peripheral MMA stuff that was going on this week? Maybe something cool that we missed or that you know of besides that highlight head kick?
I watched RIZIN, some of it, and I watched One Fight Night as well, some of that.
I missed that.
And then I obviously watched the UFC. I don't know if there was anything like that stood out crazy in any of those events. That one Japanese kid that knocked out Pechi Mix in his last fight or the fight before that, he fought in RIZIN and he won a decision. But that kid, he's only 20 years old, and I think he's probably the best Japanese fighter on the planet. It's crazy. Like the level of skill that he has, and he's only 20, the striking. I think he's from the same team as Kai Asakura, which is Japan's top team. They got a sick team over there. Yeah, man. RIZIN, dude, they got crazy, legit fighters, competing. I don't, if it was on a Tuesday, so most people probably missed it. And actually, and for you guys, it was probably in the middle of the night when it was happening. So it's hard to catch a fight card when you live a regular life on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I live a highly irregular life, and I was able to watch it. I did miss the one event though, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I do have a couple clips and things to talk about in that RIZIN event. Here's the last just fun clip I have, just random fun energy. I tried, we talked last week, I think it was, where a guy rode his Harley into BKFC, like from the parking lot, not just minorly, like all the way in. And then I seen this guy and I was like, well, he raised the bar even further.
Эффектный выход на поединок Олжаса Хайрата по прозвищу Олжас Хан. Для тех, кто не в курсе, напоминаю, что медиа-дивизион лиги Октагон пополняется еще.
And obviously rearing horses, looking super cool, having a drone shot for your entrance, all badass stuff. But I want to talk about the sideways stuff. Like, shout out to Russia for one, not giving a two shits about copyrights, for naming things that already exist. So that was the Octagon promotion, not Octagon, the promotion we all know with a K. This is just regular Octagon, and they don't fight in a geometrically shaped cage. It's a circle. So just once again, shout out Russia and just not playing by any rules and just being you, dude. Like, honestly, shout out. Just your honest, don't lack of give a shit is what I salute right now.
My only question is, did that dude win, dude? That's what I. Anytime I see a badass walk out, I'm like, you better win the fight, dude. You better win the fight. You got to rent a horse. You got to pay someone to watch that horse while you're in there fighting. Like, you better go win if you're gonna do all that.
You're hella right, my man. But like the way he dismounted and he was comfortable rearing it, I would be like, maybe that is his horse. I don't know. These guys are hard to read, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I didn't see the event. I just saw the clip and I was like, this just shout out Russia once again for being unique. All right, so let's get into some of the more structured stuff that we do here. And well, what is that? Predictions. Looking at UFC Sacramento, UFC Sac. And we got well, usually I have the graphic prepared, but here it is. 2 seconds too late. Folks, you know what the rules is for this show already. If you don't, the rule is we only make predictions based on who's on the poster. And this week we have two gentlemen facing off. So that is what we will focus on. Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Rodriguez, and that is what we're doing. We will also revisit our former success or lack thereof. I wish I knew. John joined us last week and made a prediction. I totally fumbled and didn't keep track of John's pick, but I have our week to week record kept here. Myself slipping. I slipped on some ice. I hit to 6-1. I'm no longer perfect. Zach trailing, but still contentious at 2-5. And Skynet. Once again, we designed Skynet to beat myself and Zach and then the rest of humanity. And holy shit, is it holding water. It is probably going to catch me this week. And there we go. That's what we got. John, your predictions were pretty good. You did some stuff. You went 2-0, right?
Yeah. Those are easy picks, though, I think.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you went with your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You went with your heart.
We're over here picking L's.
If you know, for the people watching, for the 16 people we got watching right now, like if you are betting, if you're betting money, don't listen to me, please. Okay, I'm telling you, I say this all the time. I bet my personal friends, and if you like look at the records, it's been a rough week for you know the High Chief family, or a rough 7 weeks for us. But I bet my personal friends. My picks are not based on fight like breakdowns or bet money. It's people I'm friends with, And it's been a rough time. It's been a rough time, and I'm hoping it turns around because I got another friend in this fight, and it's going to be a hard fight for him.
You know what? The loss record doesn't even matter. The loyalty that you display week after week, that I think is what counts.
If you think I'm going to get here, I don't care if Rob was fighting John Jones this weekend. If you think I'm going to get on here and say that my friends are going to lose the fight, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I'm bringing bear mace and other varieties of weapons if that was to happen. But yes, my dude, I totally respect it. I think it's awesome. Now, let's get into the picks for this week. I'm going to throw it to our guest, John. Who are you thinking, Fluffy or RoboCop?
Man, this is a hard pick because Fluffy, man, I've known him for a long time. And I just like him, man. But it just seems like he has Achilles heel, which is his breadbasket, man. He just can't take shots to the breadbasket. And I feel like RoboCop's going to target that and then target the head and chase the knockout. And I feel like RoboCop has decent enough grappling to defend. But I just don't know. Fluffy always comes back stronger after he loses. Remember when he lost to Kevin Holland? Same way, body shot, knee or something to the body, I think. And he came back and won like 10 in a row or something crazy like that. This time I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna go with because
don't let us. You do. We don't keep score for you. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
RoboCop too, because he's a super nice guy, man. Like I've interviewed him a bunch of times. You know, like he's very respectful, but he's just a savage, which is like a crazy combination, right? These guys are like into Jesus so much, but they go in there and just are so violent. Yeah, it's a crazy combo. But yeah, man, it's a toss up right there. Okay, I'm not gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna go with the pick that I feel like who's gonna win this fight, and I think RoboCop's gonna win.
All right. Both you guys have said stuff that I can really relate to. Obviously, you can pick your friends, you can ride with your friends. Why are they your friends if you're not going to roll with them? Like Zach, I totally get with that. And John, I feel that too. Like over the years, and you way more so than me. But getting to interview people and getting to know them a little bit differently, it makes you pick them. Like you can't. Sometimes it like gets in your way of being objective to the just calling the fight, trying to be scientific about it. Brother Zach, what you got?
So, like I said, I never hide who like that people are my friends when I pick them. But RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez, he's a John was 100% right. He's a great dude, really cool friend of mine. We have the same manager. This is a hard fight because of everything John just said. That Fluffy is like really good, and he bounces back really well. He gets it almost like he loses motivation, gets an L, and that remotivates him to get going again. And he's damn good. But I'm going with RoboCop. He doesn't just have like, oh, his grappling's better than you think. He's a good grappler. He's a really good grappler, and he's got dynamite in his hands. And hopefully, you know, he's got good coaches, and they tell him to point it at the body, which has been Fluffy's, you know, kryptonite.
Solid analysis. You know, I looked at this fight, and I know this is probably the worst way to analyze something compared to what you guys just did, which is often my technique. I like to go for the C tier stats. And I just feel like Fluffy has now officially, after a long run, after doing lots of good things, he had his shot. He had his shot up at the top. And RoboCop hasn't yet. And I think having the I want to get there versus I need to get it back, those are two different flavors. Those are two different types of motivation. And for that reason, I'm going with Yoke Bama. I'm going with RoboCop on this one. But I would not be surprised if I'm dead wrong and Fluffy wins. I'll be happy about that. You know, I agree with everybody on that sense. Like both guys, super cool, very awesome dudes. So may the best man win is my final thought on that topic. So we'll see. Now, what about the Overlord AI soon to rule us all? What about them? What about it? What does it think? And it thinks Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy. So the AI going with good old Fluffy. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. This so we're all on this way. It's going that way. This is the time. This is the time that freaking the AI passes us, bro. Like this could be the moment. This could be the turning moment. We'll look back on history and be like, it was this day, August 17th, where we lost to the machine. All right.
RoboCop is the underdog. We got to remember that.
And so that's, I mean, I don't want to spend this entire show defending my horrible record. Okay, guys. But just so you know, I don't look at anything. When I make these picks, it's pure vibes. It's pure vibes. I don't know anything about the fight we did. I didn't realize. I saw the stat after last Monday when I picked Jillian to win. I saw the stat that like on Thursday that she hasn't fought somebody that's won a fight in like 6 fights. And I just immediately go, oh my God.
Yeah. Crazy, man. That is a crazy stat. I saw that too as well. I was like, what?
I mean, shout out to her manager, right? Like,
yeah, we have the same manager. That's
hey, that's good stuff, right? You know, like just get wins, get checks. All right. Good call out on the odds thing there. Pretty relatively tight odds as you would expect for a main event. It would be weird if it was lopsided. All right. Well, I think we have some comments. I'll get to those in a second, but I have a small brain and I only can do so many things at once. And I would like to bring up the also recent past. So now feels like a million years ago because we're about 1 day away from week 2. Week 1 already happened, but there's some stuff inside the stuff. So it's not just the fights that I want to highlight or talk about, even though we will just briefly. There is, some nuance there, and I think we should address it. So here's a couple clips and highlights. And I don't need to include this clip, but I mean, how can you leave it out though? I think that's the official first moonwalk done in the octagon. I think it is. Anyways, I just want to touch on 2 things. My random good for nothing comment is Bilal Muhammad has spent 15 years trying to get people to remember the name, and this young Bilal is coming in and stealing the thunder. I think it's not very long between when people say Bilal, we won't even think about Mr. Muhammad, and it will only be Hassan. And I just, for good for nothing, I'm just bringing that up as a talking point. And the deeper thing to this little gimmick I kind of see being played is, and this is just me throwing this out there because I'm an Asian American, I guess technically in the mix. I'm Hawaiian as well, Pacific Islander. I have a tiny box with lots of divides. My point is that you're not going to get a lot of support from Team USA repping the USA as an ultra minority. I know there's lots of minorities out there, but if you really want to talk about the minority, it's the Asian American group. And so he was born in Hawaii. He's out of Washington. He's American as all the rest of us, but he chooses to play the Indonesian card, which is a group that didn't have any representation in the league till right now. And I think that shit's genius. A few other people are kind of playing that angle. I know Joshua Van was actually born in Myanmar. That's slightly different, but he's pretty super American and he just plays that card as well. And if that gets millions of people on your side, if that boosts your likes, I think this is a clever gimmick, And I don't know, that's just something I want to throw out there and get your guys' takes on it. Because Zach, you and I talk about being Polynesian and how micro minority that is, and me and John, we've had talks about similar things in the past too. So, my guy Zach, what you got on this one?
It's just smart business. It's and even like so, Indonesia is probably not a massive market that the UFC is trying to bust into, right? Like if you're Chinese, definitely rep China to get into the UFC. But it gives them something to talk about, right? They get to say first Indonesian knockout on Dana White Contender Series. like I said, it's just good business. It's totally smart. It's smart. It's good business, and it makes you stand out. That's all fighting is, right? All fighting is now everyone gets to go, oh yeah, that Indonesian kid, the Indo Ninja, he did the moonwalk. That's what they can say, right? They don't go, oh, they're like Hawaii fighter number 9,000, you know?
Right. That's it. That's true. That's super true. Mr. John, what are your thoughts on this?
What is American? Like,
Yeah,
what is
good
American?
question.
Like, to me, American is, I don't know what that is. Like, you're born in America, but you came from somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, so being American, it doesn't really help you. Yes, speaking English and catering to like the North American or American crowd is important. But for him to have his flag as Indonesia, if he's Indonesian, why not? You know what I mean? Like, if you're part something, why not? Why not rep that country? Why not rep that region? Why not try to gain as many fans from anywhere as possible? Because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what they want. They want you to rep something that they want to take advantage of. That's what the UFC, like, everybody's like, oh, why aren't you going to this country? Or why aren't you going to that country? Or why aren't you going to this city? It's because they don't pay the money to come. The UFC wants money from them, not the UFC wants to go there. Yeah, people
Right.
ask the same dumb questions all the time in the press conference. Like, don't you know by now that you have to pay for the UFC to come, not vice versa? So, I wish people would know that. You know, I wish people would be privy to that. But anyways, rep the country. If you're in America, you might as well rep a different country, because being American doesn't help you, right? I don't. Who has it really helped? You know what I mean? Like, most of the people that hate you are from your own country. If you're American, like, look at John Jones. He's American. And most of the people that hate him are from America. Like, if John Jones goes to another country, he's mobbed. Like Russia, look at all his trips to Russia. Like, they love him out there, right?
I mean,
But here they're hating on him, right? Obviously, there's reasons why they hate him. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's other people
Yeah,
exactly
totally.
like that. Like, when these fighters go to other countries, they're mobbed by, what was it, Justin Gaethje? Wasn't he somewhere recently where they were chasing him around or something like that? Or was that in America? Maybe that was in America.
I
Justin
didn't
Gaethje, like, the
see
most,
that.
I feel like, because he went on the White House lawn and won the title. Like, that will never happen again. I think, you know, Chris Weidman's nickname is the All-American, but to be honest with you, Justin Gaethje's not. But he's not even American. He's Mexican descent, no?
Yeah, he has,
his
he has some
mom's
Mexican
American.
blood.
Yeah.
It goes back to my question. What is American?
Right.
Like,
it's
Well,
the
yeah.
ultimate hybrid.
Real,
That's the
for
answer. It's the
sure.
ultimate
And like I said, it being good business, repping whatever, it's bad business to try and say, like, oh, I'm repping America. Like, look at Michael Chandler. It's exactly what John said. More than half of America's who's hating on Michael Chandler, right? Who's not liking him. It's too big. It's too fractured. That, like, at the very least, rep your state or something right there. Like Max, Pride of Hawaii. There you go. Right there you go. But yeah, all of America is too much.
I think
and Max even has Canada. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
the
it's
10th
weird.
island, the 10th
Exactly.
island of Toronto.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think it's depending on, are you playing a face or are you playing a heel? Face, don't do the American gimmick. If you're playing a heel, it works. It super works. And I think you just have to decide early on which lane you're going with it.
Chael Sonnen proved that. That's right. Chael Sonnen did
Yeah.
prove that.
Chael-
If you're the heel, you're American
Chael,
heel, it
Kobe,
works.
and now Hockett. Hockett.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
those
And Hawk is Mexican.
but he's not saying it, right?
No.
He knows
No.
how to play the evil role,
That's
right?
funny.
But he
You know
plays
what?
the essay. Like, he's
I
the
never
essay.
even really put that together. But Michael Chandler is the wrong example. He tries to be
Be the face.
a baby face
Yes.
and Mr. America, and that's why everyone hates him.
True,
if you want to
true.
be a heel, like, you go super hard on it, just like Kobe, just like everybody else.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the perfect thing. That's the perfect gimmick.
exactly.
We figured
You're
something
right.
out. We figured
Right.
something out here.
If John Jones would have went heel from the start, he would probably be the
Oh.
biggest star ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely. So that I've been saying that for years. Think of all the moments of John that we actually like. Him pushing DC on the stage, all this crazy stuff, him being a psycho. That's what we like. When John gets hate is when he's trying to quote Bible verses and like do all that. That's when John gets hate, dude. Just be the bad guy. You're the best fighter ever. Be the most evil bad guy we've ever seen, and he would have so many fans.
Say good night to the bad guy. All right,
Yeah,
got one more.
One thing.
Well, go ahead.
Indonesia, they do have a massive fight community out there. There's a promotion called One Pride MMA. It gets massive views. If you go to their YouTube channel, it's like 1 million subscribers. I feel like they could take advantage of it, right? But who knows? You know what I mean? Like maybe they're like, he's not really Indonesian. Who knows, right? Like it all depends on the situation. But Rob, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything to add to that, but that's a good take. I always think every region unrepresented is a great market to tap into. All right, here's a market that seems to be tapping into, and I'll explain it in a second. All right, just want to get this off my chest. How are you going to emote on someone and then kneel down and touch their back and be like, you okay, buddy? Like, just pick one. Just like stunt on me or be cool. Like, don't make me look like a dick and then like patronize me. But that's not the point. Good for Anthony Wynn. Very good performance. My point, I guess, my question within this is whatever, messing with words. Is the UFC's game plan to fix the heavyweight division to simply recruit football players? Is that the well that we need to go to for athletes? Because it seems like we're not gonna find them at the bar. So that's the way we fix this industry? And I'm gonna point to our resident former football player and MMA pro, because there's more guys now following what you did than guys before you there were. Did I say that in English? I think I did.
So for sure, and it's kind of it's based on everything, the direction that the UFC is going, this like TikTok meme like era, that if you want to stay famous, if you're done with football and you want to stay famous, the UFC is really the only place you can go. It's not like you can go get in the MLB or go play basketball, you know. Fighting is all you can do. The truth is, and this is probably not what people are expecting to say, is I don't think it's the answer. I don't think it's the answer. Like this fight, the only reason it wasn't the most lopsided odds in history is because of the Bilal Hassan fight that we just had. This was just the UFC getting a free fight out of him, basically, right? A half price fight. Greg Hardy was the most decorated football player. We'll never see another all-pro in the UFC. Like they're not gonna. He was the best football player to ever step foot in the UFC, and we saw how that went for him. Like fighting is so much different. Yes, being big, strong, and fast is helpful. It's really, really helpful. But fighting is so much different, and it takes so much more. And you're only going to get guys like myself and Anthony Wynn, who came off of a practice squad, right? Weren't real NFL players, right? We were in there. We had a cup of coffee in there, but it's, dude, church. Like if you come from making, I played in 2015, right? League minimum was 400 grand back then. It might be double that now. I don't know what it was, but coming from making 400 grand in 16 weeks, and then Dana goes, How does 12 and 12 sound? How does $24,000 a fight sound? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, especially when you can take a coaching job at a university and make way more and not have to be violent. John, what's your take on the UFC filling this hole with, recycled talent, if you will?
At this point, the UFC is not in the business of fixing anything. They're sitting back, chilling. Like their job is so easy right now. It's so easy. They running these systems, Contender Series. They got the Paramount deal. You see the pay-per-view lineups now. Yeah, the fights are exciting, but are there big names? Are they creating bigger names? No, it's really not happening anymore, right? They're putting it all on the fighters now. Like you need to do it. You need to become the big name yourself, obviously with performances, and then we'll And the only thing that they're putting effort into is maybe even like giving you the matchups that you need. But eventually, once they see like, oh, you're not that guy, then they're going to give you the matchups to build the other guy that they think is that guy. So it's getting harder for fighters. It's not getting easier, right? It's easier to get in, but to stay, I feel like it's getting harder now because they're not in the business to build anything, right? And fix anything. They're making so much money. Contenders, like you said, Contender Series is like, man, 12-12.
Well, and that's what you win on Contender. To fight on Contender is 6-6. So that's just what they got from Bilal and Anthony right there. Like I said, they knew they were going to win. They knew they were going to sign them. That was just a half price fight that they got out of them.
And well, I don't like it. Like I said, I like it. I like that these guys are getting opportunities. But I feel like some of these guys, they're not being managed properly. They should be going to other promotions and fighting and getting more money. Why would you not want to build if you're that good, right? Why would you not go somewhere else and make some money and build your status like Patty did? That's what he did, right? Because he knew he was good, but he needed to build himself and he could make more money like in another promotion and then come over and negotiate a better contract rather than going to the Contender Series. But they got the system going, man.
So I mean, Patty did the correct thing was great. It's difficult and a little bit different though because Patty's manager, is the owner of Cage Warriors.
Yeah,
but you can't do that.
Conflict of interest, no?
You can't do that. Ali Act doesn't allow that to. You can't. Promoters can't manage fighters above board like they do. They can in the UK. So, but you're 100% right. And especially right now with MVP, PFL, all this stuff, if you're good, if you're really that dude, if you're Bilal Hassan, now is the time to play the market and see what's going on, see what's happening. Not to take 12-12 and get locked into a 3-fight deal with UFC.
I said that so many times. What you just touched on, try somewhere else. If it's easier, one, you'll make more money if you try to the PFL or RIZIN or somewhere else. You'll make more money at the earlier level of pro, first off. Second off, you'll have some type of negotiation leverage when you enter the UFC. And it's a nice, smoother line. You're like, oh, no matter what you do in another organization, as you cross over to the UFC, it's the test. People want to see if you're real or not, whatever. But if you go the other way, unfortunately, people don't give you credit. They look down on you. They go, oh, some shit, you used to be in the UFC, which is dumb, So with that being said, I'm glad you guys brought that up because there's a real short clip I want to show from RIZIN. A guy I think is on the path of doing what we're talking about in a couple different ways.
Oh, beautiful. Jab, left hook, right hand.
Shot with the right hand, the hit, give the left hand, the right side clinch. Here comes the king. Here comes the Pauga. Somebody call Monarch because the monster is on the loose here in the second round.
Yeah, a little bit of inexperience there, the way he rushed in and pulled out. But, there it is, up the middle.
Come on.
And slightly stealing the finishing taunt, but that's he's a protege. If you guys don't know, King Oropolo is a protege of Alex Pereira. So, hey, he can borrow the taunt if he wants, I guess. But this statement that he made, I think, is something we're all kind of on board here. But being selective with your career, I want more fighters, especially the guys coming up, to be more selective on your career path going up. Reading this quote here, sparring in America is genuinely tougher than my actual fights. I was more nervous getting ready to spar with Alex Pereira than I was walking out for tonight's fight. Yeah, because different regions bring different levels of depth and challenge. You want the hardest, lighter weights in the world? Go fight in Asia. That's what it's going to be. You want the hardest, heavier weights? Come to America. Then it's like mid-grade for all the rest of it in Europe. Sorry, no disrespect. But it is what it is. So choose your path wisely. You could be making way better money, developing tons and tons of fans, getting highlight reels, and getting that, once again, that all-important leverage as a professional in any sport is key to whether you're going to make a real living from it or not. And I just like seeing this young man learning not just the fight craft, but whoever's around him. Hey, why fight in America and have like the hardest fights while you're being developed? You can go to Japan and sleep bradas, in his own words, feeling relatively easy. John, what's your thoughts on this guy or any of the shit I just said?
Yeah, when you see him, it reminds me of Yuri. Yuri did the same thing. He was fighting in Japan for years, became the champion, got a lot of experience, and built himself up. And his fans as well, right, through RIZIN, and then came over to the UFC. So when he came over, he had probably a way better deal, launched into the top 10, and got a good matchup and did his thing. You know, I mean, we know what Yuri can do, right? We know he's just Yuri. And then Manel Kopp, same thing. He was over there fighting, won the title, got a lot of experience. Kai Asakura, Koji Horiguchi. He got revenge in his last fight against Koji, but he lost to Koji like 8 years ago or whatever it was in RIZIN. Yeah, like I feel like if you have the right representation, and also it's about connections too, right? If your manager has connections and then they want you to fight for their promotion, and also your fighting style probably would, you know, have to be exciting, because then nobody wants to just sign a bunch of wrestlers that are just gonna like lay on, you know, especially in Japan as well. But yeah, like why would you not? You know what I mean? But not everybody has that option though. I just want to put that out there. Not everybody has management that's going to do that for them. Some management is just like, we're going to send you to the fastest path to the UFC, and they don't really care about developing you, right? This is not boxing, man. That's the difference between boxing and MMA. Boxing, their managers and agents or whatever, they want to develop you and put you with these coaches, and MMA, it's very rare that they're doing this, right? Because maybe because of the money that's in it, but maybe not. Maybe it's just because everybody's delusional about being in the UFC.
The delusion going to the UFC is definitely a thing, but from what I've seen, and I'm gonna pass the ball to Zach on this a little bit, is fighters, if you're going to the UFC or want to, what is your leverage? Once again, you have no highlight reels from another organization. You have no belts from another organization. You have no people on the internet yapping about how you're the best bantamweight in the world. You know, I'm sorry, I just always ripping on Patchy Mix. I could never stop. But the point is, you have no leverage. Leverage is the key to all negotiation. So, my brother Zach, what's your thoughts on any of this?
So, you're correct about everything. I agree with you. The big thing from like the fighters, we've been talking about the business side, the monetary side. All of that is correct. Even Justin Gaethje came over after like 20 fights in World Series of Fighting. Like he didn't work his way up through the UFC.
Good one.
From the fighter's perspective, from your like skill development as a fighter, you really need someone in your corner and a coach. The boxing example that John gave was perfect, right? By the time you actually watch someone on TV, a pro boxer on TV, he's had like 200 fights. And he knows how he fights. He knows how to fight, and he knows how he fights. My 6th pro fight was in the UFC. Like, I just figured out how to fight like 2 fights ago. My 18th fight is when I go, oh, I'm not a wrestler. I punch people. Like, that's the best way to do. That's how I do things. Maybe it's not the best. When I started early in my career, right, Khabib was the champion, and I was like, okay, well, I want to be Khabib then. I want to do that. And turns out I wasn't that good at it. You know, it took me time to figure it out. And you only figure that out with live reps. It's you can go into the training room for as long as you want, but until you have real fights, double digit real fights, that's how you figure out what you do, how you fight. And you don't want to try and figure that out in the UFC, because then you're not going to be there for very long like I was.
You know who's a perfect example of that? Is Khabib. If you look at Khabib's record, his first 20-something fights are against guys that were not very good.
18,
yeah. He developed himself on the regional scene over there. And then by the time he got here, even though he wasn't fully polished yet, he was polished enough to where he can come in and compete and win.
He knew his game plan.
Exactly.
And I always respect your honesty and you sharing that kind of stuff. And it makes sense. Anybody who's done anything, played any sport seriously, knows that practice is just practice. You really don't get better until you play games. You know what I mean? Unless you're in there full speed, that's when you really stuff just happens inside yourself and you become another version of yourself athletically. Folks, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like, consider subscribing. If you're watching on X, hit the repost button, please, so other people can see this as we move along. Now, this topic, we're going to just do a quick stop here before we go on to our most longest running segment of the show. But I think it's super important, and it just bothers me, maybe because I'm old and I'm old school and I have old feelings to certain fighters, and I'll just keep saying old, but that's what I feel like. It's like the UFC is, maybe for no good reason, intentionally trying to stat wash the memory of our former greats. And what I mean by this is, I'm going to share this image here that I have somewhere, kind of, maybe. Anyways, here we go. This image, like everything about it is so perfectly done. I know this is done by a private company. This wasn't done by the UFC, but the black and white image in Silva is old, 17 over 16 Islam. And they were just yapping about it on the broadcast, like just yapping about this streak. And there's no context to it. There's no other parts of it that are like probably the most important stuff, that most of that streak was done with the belt, not without it. And like so much other stuff. And it just feels unnecessary. I guess that's where my core problem is. It's unnecessary. Is Islam super great? Yeah. Is Anderson Silva arguably the greatest of all time? Very much, yeah. Why do we need to step on one to put the other one up? I don't even get the comparison, and that's where my panties are in a bunch. There you go. That's the end of my rant.
Dude, we're just gonna change this show's name to the Old Man MMA Hour, because you're completely right. Because I completely agree with you. But it's so we, dude. It's just this. I'm gonna keep calling it TikTok generation, making myself feel really old. But it's just this TikTok generation. They need to say, "Oh, he's the GOAT. This is the new GOAT." That guy we said last week, the GOAT. Nope, it's this guy this week. Like, everything that you said is correct. To me, to older folks, what's actually cool is when someone does overtake Anderson's record, right? We don't have to doctor it and say, just make it UFC wins. It was 16 UFC wins. It was 11 title defenses, right? It wasn't Renato Moicano on 22 hours notice, to build that record. Like,
or a featherweight.
Yeah.
No disrespect to, Volkanovski, he's a killer, but still, like, yeah.
No, it's that doing this to me, to the, and they don't care about our opinion. But for people like us, doing this actually makes us like, we have to talk bad about Islam. Islam's amazing. 17 wins around the UFC, amazing. Double champ, amazing. Like, I don't want to take away from it, but you're making me, because you're bringing up these nonsense doctored stats of how trying to prove that he's greater than he is, and he's already great.
That's it, John.
I don't think it's doctored. I feel like it's selective.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah.
Selective, right? So, like, to me, those stats are not for us, because we know about fighting. We know about who came before Islam. We know the details of it, right? It's for the people that are watching the broadcast, that, it's like your brother who doesn't really watch fighting, but he comes and watches the big fights, right, on Paramount, and he's just like, what the fuck? 17 that's crazy. Like, I gotta watch this dude, right? He has no idea really who Islam is. Maybe he saw, him beat Volk or something, and he likes Volk or whatever. It's for them. It's not really for us. But and no one's gonna be like going on some show and like throwing accusations. The ESPN's not gonna do a expose about the UFC and their their stat paddings of of champions, and why is he wearing 2 belts as well, man? Like what is that? Like, might as well give him all 16 belts or something. I don't know. Like, have him walk around with 18 belts. Like, what's the point of that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I first noticed it in the press conference. I was like, why is he carrying 2 belts? He doesn't have, like, the lightweight belt doesn't matter. Like, it's gone. Like,
It's not his belt.
Justin Gaethje's over there walking around with
you.
the belt, right? Why is he having 2, right? So I guess nowadays, if you've won 2 belts, you could just carry them around forever, right? So if he loses the welterweight title, he just carry around both belts, like it doesn't matter, right? He does the Chael Sonnen. Remember when he went on interview with the belt? It wasn't even his. But yeah, it's weird, but I kind of get it though. It's because this is the era we're in. Like you have to do it, and the guys that are doing it are actually legends of this sport, which makes it shittier for us to see, like DC, and they made up the whole fight between Islam versus Justin Gaethje, which never happened. During Joe Rogan mentioned that, and then DC agreed. It's like, what's going on? Like, it's just they're just going. It's not even a job. It's not even a job for them. They're just hanging out. Seriously, like they're just hanging out.
I say this. I've said this before on the thing. The broadcast desks, all it is the UFC retirement plan. Like that's if you're lucky enough to get that gig, that's all it is the UFC paying you for being a good company guy, continuing to pay you after you're done fighting.
Seriously.
That's it. Good takes on all that. Really good stuff. Now, talking about the desk, a couple of weeks ago we had someone self-implode their opportunities at the desk. They had a career. They could have been there for many, many, many years, and they threw it in the weeds, not talking about him. But then somebody else who gets to work the desk goes up, and man, I know most of you guys too, we were fans. Like I actively watched all the time, like I do now, when Dean Thomas was a fighter. I can tell you how many people gave a shit about Dean Thomas as a fighter when he was a fighter. The grand total is 1, and that's just Dean Thomas himself. Nobody cared. He was not a star. He was a good fighter, but he was not a needle mover. He didn't really matter. And this is the most I've ever seen the general public talk about this guy. And for better or worse or whatever, we'll talk about it. It's all because of some comments that were made after a fight and in a very unique and weird scenario that I have a lot of mixed feelings about. But let's get to the evidence and then break it down.
And for me, and for my announcement, I do have an announcement for you guys. I told myself I would continue to do this until I took Jillian as far as she could go. I think that might be as far as she can go, and I am officially retiring from cornering fighters tonight.
Wow.
Yes.
You're doing the Matt Serra.
I'm doing the Matt Serra. I am no longer cornering fighters.
Can we not
No
decide
fighters
this
at all
the night of? Maybe you need time to sit on this?
I've been sitting on that, and I'm telling you now that that's what I'm doing.
That's breaking news.
Why?
It's just, I told myself that I would do this with her. I would see her journey out and take her as far as I think she can go. And this might be as far as she can go.
But Dean, you have so many great fighters that you work with. You know, like you're gonna still work with them, but it's
I'm
not.
the host of Deep Waters now.
That's true. That's true. You are big time.
You know what I enjoy about you in the corner, though? You talk different in the corner.
I talk different.
Yes, you do.
Well, I'm a thug too.
Yeah, the gangster comes
We
out.
get the polished up version up here. Well, Dean, you've been an amazing coach. If this really is the end of your coaching journey, and
Well, I'll still work with guys. It's just
you
a
just don't
matter
want to
of-
go
yeah,
down there and
going
do
down
all
that
that.
road
Yeah, okay,
forward.
that's fair to me.
What is it? What is it about the cornering that is the one thing
It's a
that
lot
you
of
don't
work.
want?
Stress?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. You got to be there all week. And again, like I've been slowly telling you, like I don't cut weight with them, and it's not fair to them. They need somebody who's going to really put that type of work in with them.
Now, I could have cut it short. I could have done anything to make him look more like an asshole or less like an asshole. But I figured the only fair way to do this is let the man say all the things he said that night. And some people jumped onto things and got upset. We have his now new point of view that he shared, and I'll share that clip in a bit. But there were some words in there that I think were true and honest and real and okay. And then there was like a couple words that felt targeted and disrespectful, and that's what the public has really latched on to. I'm once again mixed emotions. Zach and I have talked deeply about how stressful it is to be in the corner. He does it quite frequently. He'll be doing it again real soon. I got the opportunity to do it like 15 years ago almost for my cousins, which didn't make it any more fun. Like, and yeah, that's out of all the positions you can be in, that's probably the least fun. I've even talked to lots of other fighters about it, and it's a rough spot emotionally. So I get it if he's tired of it or over it, but those key words, I guess, that everybody's hung up on, where he's like, I think this is as far as she can go, so I'm out. Like, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. That's pissing off a lot of people. And so Zach, as someone who's going to be the next out of the three of us here, who's going to be cornering somebody first is you. So I'm passing you the ball first.
So I have so much to say. This is like such a complicated topic. When it first happened, I sent this to Rob because I was like, Dean's my dump. You don't have to ask me later. He sucks. Like, I'm mad at him. And, you know, then I saw the rest of the clip, and you know, Rob, you're a good dude that you played the whole clip. You played the whole clip, and he apologized today, and everyone's been dumping on him. John Anik was dumping on him on his podcast. And there's so, like I said, I want to try and cover all of this. Dean Thomas, as far as MMA goes, the sport of MMA, not striking for MMA, not grappling, not wrestling, being an MMA fighter, I think he's the best mind in the sport. He's been getting shit on a lot. People saying he's a horrible coach and all this stuff. I think he knows more about the game, winning fights in a cage, than anybody that's out there. The only issue that happened was him going up to that desk after cornering this fight. Like 20 minutes after cornering the fight, you're on the desk, and he had a decision to make. Am I a broadcaster or am I a coach? Right? And he just made a decision. He's not a coach anymore. He said, I'm not cornering fighters anymore, because what your fighter needed, what Jillian needed, was, no matter what he believed, to just say, you know, she had a rough night. We're gonna get back in the gym and figure it out. That's it. That's it. The broadcaster in him gave us all that extra information. Maybe she's done. I don't even cut weight with her anymore. She's not getting the best out of me, right? And your fighters don't need that. They would love to hear that at home and have that conversation, but we don't need to hear that. Like, even Chris Weidman, world champion's like, dude, don't. He's like trying to stop him. He's like kindly trying to be like, don't do this right now, dude. And then the other chick is like,
Felder. Yeah. Felder's like, yeah. Felder tried to pause him too. He's like, maybe there's something you can sit on it. And then he just fucking hit the throttle. Was like, no, I've been sitting on this motherfucker. I'm out. Like, yeah, it was. Yeah, no. Hey, shout out to those other guys trying to steer him live action. But John, I'm gonna play the second part. I'm gonna give him his time and dues. We got a second clip. But what is your thoughts on all of this, man?
I've had dealings with Din before. I feel like he's a professional dude. Like, he's a great mind. Like you said, there's a reason why they want him between rounds, breaking down the fight. They could have picked anybody, but they picked him, and there's a reason why. And I agree with Zach. Like, he shouldn't have been up on that podium after that title fight. He should have been in the locker room. You know what I mean? But I feel like he was towing the line for just too long, and this is kind of like the last straw, right? He is a broadcaster. He's doing the podcast. You know what I mean? He does the breakdowns, all that stuff. I feel like that's a good move for him. But yeah, obviously doing it there and announcing it to the world was a mistake. But I feel like he's going to recover from that. You know what I mean? And what Dean told me before is, like, he doesn't care what people say online. He doesn't pay attention to that stuff. He's an old man. He's an old school dude. He's an old man. He's not going to be online arguing with people. Like, he'll go on the podcast and say what he has to say, and then he's going to move on and continue with his life. He doesn't care, right? I'm pretty sure there's some things that he probably would have to have a conversation with Jillian, and, privately. But outside of that, that's their thing. And I see why people are shitting on him. there's a reason why people are shitting on Ian Gary and Islam Makhachev, and it's just everything's about shitting on people nowadays. So it's just part of being in the
yeah. And that's the biggest thing that I don't like is like I said,
John.
What I was saying, the biggest thing that I was saying was that, like, yes, him saying that Jillian has like gone as far as like she can go, maybe. I didn't like that. I didn't love that, have that conversation privately. But then all these people piling on about how he sucks and how he's a bad coach, like they put me back on his side. I like I said, as soon as that clip dropped, I sent it to Rob. I said, I'm dumping all on Dean. I'm shitting all over Dean on Monday. And then I see everyone calling him a bad coach. And I'm like, no. This guy is a great coach. This guy is a great coach. He just made a bad choice this moment.
And I think you nailed something there. You can only have so many, words like that are accurate when wearing different hats without starting to contradict yourself, even with the truth. When you're a broadcaster and you got to say certain things to be entertaining. When you're a coach, you have to, and putting on multiple different hats all the time, and then both hats feel like it got stuck on his head at the same time, and just this mess came out. That's kind of the way I feel about it. And I'm just gonna play a short clip. I'm not gonna run the whole thing, just a quick thing of his thing, because I just think it's fair. Like, I think it's fair.
How this is, it's an emotional roller coaster. You're dealing with the same insecurities, the same highs and lows.
But it's just not the corner, it's everything leading up.
Everything leading up to it. Everything leading up to it. You have to deal with all that stuff. And it's an emotional roller coaster. And I've been very vocal about this, that it's not my favorite thing to do. I've tried to quit time and time before. I thought when Tyron Woodley got knocked out by Jake Paul, I was like, yo, it's my last time doing this.
I remember you.
Yeah, my last time doing this. I'm not doing this no more. But I took on Jillian. And I have to say, Saturday night was the most inappropriate time for me to bring up the fact that I did not want to corner again. It was completely irresponsible. It was despicable. I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited till maybe even today. I should have waited till a different time than take away her moment. Now, this is a young lady that I've...
And he goes on to say, this is a young lady, I've been with her for 7+ years, highs and lows, throughout the journey, and got her from an inconsistent fighter, to his credit of being a coach, from an inconsistent fighter that couldn't string together 2 wins in a row to someone who got to fight for the title. So then there's a lot there. And, it's stressful. It sucks. Like, corner sucks. Honestly, is my one. I have literally 2 experiences, and luckily they won because they were good. It had nothing to do with me, but it was stressful and it sucked. And I didn't have to go, as I wasn't professional, so I didn't have to do all the extreme stuff. But dude, it's like all of their hopes and dreams. It's a lot of stress. Like, even doing the stuff beforehand, like meal prepping. Like, I don't want to eat chicken and broccoli, bro, but I'm not gonna be eating Zippy's chili in front of you either. You know what I mean? So like, and I know you know a lot more about that. So if he's tired of that job, then so be it, and I can respect him to come out and say, I fucked up. We're all human. We all fuck up. And he did it right there. Right. So I don't know.
Dude, so you're right. And this is like, we say this all the time. This is like where we would be a better show, where we would get more clicks if we just kept shitting on him and all that stuff. I mean, like I said, I sent you when it was hot. I sent it to you, and then time passes. I see it. I see what he has to say, and I go, okay. Like, I have no reason to keep hating on Dean Thomas. He's apologized. Jillian hasn't come out and said anything. Like, he's back on the good side. He's back in the good page in my book. I'm moving on with my life. Like, I have no reason to keep hating on him. So like, I do think exactly what he said is true. It was the wrong time to do that. And everything he said, I would say the same thing about him at that moment.
That's it right there. All right.
And corner people sucks. The corner people sucks, dude.
Yeah. All right. Hell yeah. We could consensus on that. You know what doesn't suck is the pump and dump. Our longest running segment. We'll run through this as best we can because there is some cool stuff, and we look at the most recent UFC event, which, you know, if I could be a professional and actually have these things ready in the right place, right here. Anybody on this card, top to bottom, can get some love. Anybody can get some admonishment. We are fair, and we do this with love and respect, but sometimes you got to love with a stick, and sometimes you got to give people their props. So that's what we're doing. And my man, what are we doing? You get to pick. What are we doing?
So I'm going to pump first. I'm going to pump first for the curtain jerker, Jeremiah Wells.
All right.
Huge right hand. I don't think Orlby immediately goes. Oh, look at this. He's got a hold of it. Oh, he's got to pull him down. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. He might be out. He's out. He's out. Oh!
That fight was so good.
So good fight. Great win for Jeremiah. We talk about this all the time. A situation where they were bringing him in to lose. Like, he was the underdog. Orlby, they're trying to push all this stuff. What I'm pumping him for specifically, and this is something that took me a long time as a fighter to learn. When you're in this back against the wall situation, like they expect you to lose situation, when you're the underdog, that's how you fight. Like, if you guys watched the fight, DC was shitting on him because he wasn't defending wrestling. He was just punching, just doing all the wrong stuff. No, when you are like the underdog, when you're not supposed to win, do you know what you do? You do what you're best at. And this is a mistake I made. When you're supposed to, I'm going to lose, so I'm going to fight all timid, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to worry about what this guy does. No, I'm going to do what I do. He said at the end, that's my choke. I hit everyone with that choke. Like, he forced that situation because he was throwing bombs and he knew that I was going to grab a single, luring him into where he's best and doing what he does. And that's how you win fights that you're not supposed to win. You don't do what you don't do. Oh, this guy's a good wrestler, so I'm going to try and out wrestle him. You know what that happens? You get out wrestled.
Right. No, great call. And that's what I liked about the fight was, you know, he was putting some heat on some shots. He was catching Orlby in the first round. It was a nice seesaw kind of fight, honestly. Like, the first round, depending on how you judge it, you could have thought Wells. He landed the more damage, in my opinion. Then was getting out wrestled. It looked like the younger guy with the better wrestling. The story was starting to play and go against Wells. The tide was going against him. But then, like you just said, he found a way to bring his A game into the mix. This is the thing I want to highlight on this pump, though. Now, this is an unofficial record from other places, whatever. Shout out the homie Vaughn. He posted this. But this is all the people in a certain community or whatever that did predictions. And these are all the people that picked Orlby, dude. All the people. And there's one single person.
R Parks.
Yeah. Shout out R Parks, dude. The lone wolf, the I don't give a shit what you guys are up to guy picked well. And that, I think, is a perfect representation of where everybody's mindset on this prediction for this fight was. Like, I love when people mess up the party, and Jeremiah Wells at home against all the stuff just goes and messes it up in the most beautiful way. And it was awesome. Like, good for him. The only thing I don't like was the one glove soft retirement thing. Mr. Wells, why'd you do that? That's my only thing. Yeah. That's all I got.
I'll agree with that. I get the I'm retiring unless you give me a top 15 opponent. It's like, wait, so what if the UFC says, okay, see you, dude. See you later. Like, what if
yeah, like, you didn't fully retire. Like, yeah, it was I'd swing and a miss, I guess, is all I can say on that. All right. My pump is, folks, if you guys you guys ever listen to this podcast, you probably already know where my pump was going, but we're just gonna do it.
Oh, it's a pretty good wrapped head kick.
Oh, beautiful left hook. Beautiful left hook. Beautiful left hook by Chapeline.
Johnson has yet to
He's still in real bad shape. He's hurt bad.
Second part to this.
He's got his back. Johnson's got the back. He's getting a little high there. He lost it. Oh, but he's got it. You saw it. Yeah, you saw it.
First off, submission of the year, the Scottish Twister, right? Like that's like the in vogue, coolest, newest. Everybody wants to do it. Every league is hitting it. Submission now, but to the homie, to the brother, Charles Johnson, in a fight that I was squeezing. I was squeezing up into that round. I was like, brah, I don't want to watch you lose. This sucks. And I'm thinking, my opinion and the judge's opinion, he was losing the fight up to that point. Obviously went through some tough shit and figured it out and then won. Then he got the bonus, and I just can't be more happy for someone, man. Like that's, once again, this is what fighting's about. You make it through the shit and end up the hero. Fuck yeah. Love it. Yeah. Love everything about it.
So that was by far the smoothest setup for the Scottish Twister we've seen. By every other one, because I think we've shared probably every Scottish Twister that's happened on this show. Every other one has been like an accident. That was the one that he literally took the back and he's like, I'm putting you in this. You're getting Scottish Twistered. And it was money. Set up, finished it. I did text my jiu-jitsu coach right after that. And I go, it's probably never going to happen at heavyweight, but I'm telling you right now, if someone catches me in a Scottish Twister, I'm not tapping. Like, I don't think that you can break my neck with your lat, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it was just so great to see. Shout out RIZIN. Thanks for your comments. James Mark before that, and everybody else who's dropped comments. Thank you guys for sharing. And you can always do it, whether you're on X or YouTube. Love to see it. And I guess this is where we would traditionally go to the dump, but Zach digressed and used a different thing for the dump. So I'm going to break the rules, and I'm going to introduce to you guys my bonus pump instead.
Bad. It was nasty. He took big power. Oh, he hurt him. He hurt him real bad. Oh, he's out.
And I'm really happy for Jalen Turner in the sense of it's not easy to like, especially I think, and this is just observatory, I don't know, but in a sport that treasures toughness and the grind and pushing through shit, to be man enough and know yourself good enough to be like, I need a freaking break, bro. Like, I'm not fully here right now. Like, I'm here physically, but I'm not here mentally or spiritually. Take some time off, come back, and be the winning guy we knew you were. You were losing some fights, and we go, who the hell is this guy? What's going on here? And to just be able to call your own shit out and know what's up inside here, and just like no dreads Jalen Turner, this new version of him, is just awesome to see. I just love it in every way.
Dude, it's a great pump and great call because you're right. As a fighter, like it's impossible. It's impossible. It's very not done very often. It's not. So when my UFC career, right, was 4 fights over the span of a little bit more than a year. Like I fought 4 times in a year in 365 days. It was over Chris calendar day. But because I was like, no, let's do it. Let's go. Kept hammering him. And what I really needed was to like take a break. You know, like slow down, dude. Slow down, take a step back, figure out what's not working. Stop cutting weight. First, that was it. And that's what Jalen Turner did and came back and got such an amazing result. And I just, everything that you said, I just want to highlight that more often that, yes, hammering is important sometimes. Sometimes you have to. But oftentimes you're hammering too much. You don't have enough left to fight with. You got to take some time off.
Hell yeah, and amen to that, man. And I always appreciate you sharing the insight of traveling down that road yourself. Now, in the spirit of the pump and dump, I was not letting the dump part go off into the weeds without a dump.
Listen, I have a bonus dump. I have a bonus dump. We're not gonna have a clip for it, but I have a bonus dump. But we'll see. You might cover it. You might get it.
Okay, well, let's see. So here's my dump.
Presiónalo ahora contra la reja.
Buena derecha, Juani. Qué bien. Lo mandan a presionar, pero entra esa derecha por fuera.
All right. You're probably like, how or what? If you didn't watch the fight, you're probably like, how or what? First off, it was the worst fight on the whole card. It was the most boring fight on the whole card. It was two guys that usually are really good, entertaining strikers who just weren't. And here's my fun fact. When you force me, and shout out to all the Spanish-speaking people of the world, I love you very much. But when you force me to dig through the entire internet, and I cannot find a single highlight of you until I reach an alternative language, and I can find one usable clip. And once again, shout out to UFC freaking Espanol. Like, they were somehow able to cobble together the 12 seconds where you look decent, and that shit sucked, bro. Like, that was such a letdown. I actually picked this. I was on another podcast. Thank them for having me. I picked this as like my potential banger of the night. It was shit. It was garbage. And yeah, there you go. That's my dump.
So it's no surprise, but like always, we're not gonna have a clip, right? But I'm dumping Ian Gary, right? He lost the fight. It's not because you lost the fight, Ian. It's all this bullshit afterwards and during the fight, other than fighting. Dude, like,
thank you.
Stop hugging him, stop kissing him, stop telling us how you're only 28 and you'll be back and you did amazing and all this stuff. Dude, just shut up. Just fight. Just fight, okay? Just fight. You can touch gloves. Just fight. And then when you lose, like, we don't want to hear from you at all, Ian. We definitely don't want to hear from you after you lost and you're telling us how good you still are.
That sucked so bad. And I actually thought about clipping those things. And because that's the other part. Like, maybe I'm old school. Obviously, I'm just a fan. But when you're fighting for the title, dude, I want every part of you fighting. And I mean that. I want every part of you in the fight. We're fighting each other right now. Yes, we've been professionals, so that's why we can touch gloves at the beginning of the fight. And then afterwards, at the end of the fight, we can hug or shake hands or whatever. But everything in between that is total war, from mental to physical and everything else. I'm not hugging. I'm not fucking lifting you off the ground. I'm not helping you up for shit. Like, if it wasn't a crime and I'd lose points, I'd push you down again. Like,
so going into the fifth, right? Going into the fifth, it was 3-1. It was 3-1. Maybe you're hoping it's 3-2, like, or it's 2-2. Maybe, but it's 3-1 going into the fifth. What I want to see from, if I'm your coach, if I'm your wife, if I care about you, and I've talked about this before, I want to see you try and win the fight. And if it's 3-1, that means throwing heat. Going for Ian's not going to sub you. That means going for heat. He fought that fifth round not to get finished. Yeah. Like, and I've never fought for the world title before. Maybe not getting finished is like important to you. Like, maybe it should be more important to me. Look at my record. That's the only way I lose, right? Because if I'm losing a fight, I'm not going to hang out and go, oh, I guess I'll just stay here. I guess I'll just lay on bottom or lay against the cage and let the clock run out. I'm going to try and win. And you know what happens if you try and win and you don't? You get finished. But that's just me. That's my perspective on these things. I hate when guys accept the loss midway into the fight, when they go, at least I won't get finished. He's not going to finish me. And then they talk about it at the end. Well, he didn't finish me. He just, beat me up for 5 rounds. He didn't finish me.
Yeah. This is not boxing. This is not, I went 12 rounds with the world champ. There's no consolation prize. I went 5 rounds with the champ. There's no attaboy for that. The other part is, and for no good reason, obviously, people eat what you want. Life is for that. Eat what you want, but don't parade your veganism as like a secret weapon to fighting, because it clearly is not. We have enough science to prove that. I'm not saying that it makes it worse, but it sure as shit isn't like some secret advantage. So stop that. That's enough nonsense. Most importantly, the post-fight speech and the little locker room goofiness that he was doing with Michael Morales, like, dude, like that, like, listen. I just want to say, like, that felt so scripted. Like, I felt like all of those words were out of his wife's mouth. I felt like I was listening to Mrs. Gary in both of those. I'm like, dude, how much did you practice this shit? Like, for real, it was weird to me.
So it was definitely weird. And maybe you could prove it. Does Morales speak English? Right, like he's from Ecuador. He's from Ecuador. Does he like? And Ian's speaking Irish English, right? And he like what? Exactly right. He had a pre-planned speech for Morales. Morales is there like, okay, like no say, like no habla inglés. I don't like. What are you doing, Ian? What are you doing?
Yeah. That's funny. How do you tell someone is vegan? You don't. They will tell you. Yeah. Great joke. Yeah, man. I don't know. All of it stunk. Don't like any of it. Whatever it is, it's over with now, and he has a lot of work to do to prove otherwise. Haven't got to do this, and I know we're running long, but I don't want to disrespect the people who participate, so I'm going to rip through this as fast as I can. We did the poll. 42.6% said it was mid, which is surprising to me because I thought the card was straight fire. 38.2% with loved it, and 19.1% with super sucked. You know, my minority folks, I love you with the super sucks. I'm going to rip through these responses, and thank you guys for commenting. John Garcia, early prelims and prelims stole the show. Love the upsets and the comeback victories by Magny and Johnson. Yeah, I wanted to pump Magny so bad, but I had to pick somebody. Great card until the champion fights, to be honest. A lot of people felt that way. Jillian defeat was brutal. Dean's retirement from cornering fighters made me sick. Rough night. Yeah, a lot of people felt that too. RJ, it was great up until last two. Tonight's was perfect in my opinion. Shout out Vinny. And we got Toppy. I liked it. Started with a huge bang. Vita, great night, wonderful fights. Charles Scottish Twister was the highlight. Jillian definitely seemed off, possibly an injury. She'd never admit to it. Dern is not bad by no means. Islam makes history and really earned it. Neil still getting it done. And Christopher Andrade. First main event in years I couldn't even bet on. Was hoping for a double knockout or something. Impossible to root for either dude. Nicholas Basile. Jeremiah Wells really pumped me up with his third round submission. Then shortly after, we had Neil Magny come from behind upset. Lastly, Charles Johnson get the twister from fight when he was behind. The prelims were the best part of the card. Honestly, though, that's a great take. Like for real. That shit.
So I voted mid just because it was a great card until the end. The two title fights were a little rough. They were a little rough.
The headliners really fucking let everybody down.
50 minutes of that's rough when you get to that, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can respect that call. Pierce Fitzpatrick, it was a solid card. However, genuinely broke me when Barbosa retired, and the speech he gave. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's next for all winners. And I would love to see Dern and Wei Lee. Islam versus Carlos would be nice as well. Yes, happy trails to Edson Barbosa. And last but not least, Ben G wasn't bad until the last couple fights. Just saying what you just said, Brett, is like Dern fight could have been better if Dern just tried to fight. Yeah, I felt like she's a little too dead set on jiu-jitsu matching and proving a point there. I kind of feel that. I do. But good stuff, man. Good calls all around, all on that. I do have to reach the ending here. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you all for spending your time with us. We're near the end, so thank you for going the distance with us. Last closing thoughts here. And I have some good news and bad news. Good news is the world of sumo is expanding, baby. I want to shout out World Elite Sumo League. It's going to be doing some really cool shit, having their first event September 26th in California at the Kaiser Permanente Arena. And folks, if you got any questions about this league, hit me up. But here's the cool part. I think everybody's going to love this. It's a 12-man open weight single night, just like the original UFC, and the way the fight gods intend fights and stuff to happen. Just no weights, just collide, run what you brung. And, you know, sumo is technically the longest fight system and fighting style that we have a record of. People want to go, there's older things. Well, this is the one we have years of actual written history of, and it's good to see it evolve. And when I say sumo is just really powerful judo, that is what I try to tell people what it is. And
So-
it's going to be fun.
Rob told me he's working with this at the beginning, and he has no idea. He has no idea that I love sumo. So
Yes.
if you guys, if you're talking about athleticism, some of the craziest, most exciting things you've ever seen, watch sumo. Go watch. Just Google highlight or YouTube sumo highlights in Japan. This sport is so exciting. It's so exciting, guys. Watch sumo. It's so entertaining.
It is. The technique in it is legit and real and usable. The difference of sizes and speeds and technique, what you choose to do in a given moment, it's really fun. Just really, really fun. And if you want my favorite guy growing up, rest in peace, Chiono Fuji. If you guys don't know who Chiono Fuji is, look him up. He was kind of undersized, but he would just dominate. He was like a great grand champion. Obviously, Akebono is close to my heart. We're like born right one town apart from each other, but that's not the point. Go look it up, have some fun, and I'm glad to see that sport expand into new horizons. Now, to the sad thing, and rest in peace to Pritchard Colon. Unfortunately, succumbed to his brain injuries that he sustained, I believe, in 2015. And I'm obviously, God bless and respect his family, but I want to use this moment to just tell fans, respect fighting of all kinds, of everywhere. There's so many jobs out there, from whether you're a police officer, a deep sea fisherman, fighter, racing. I mean, there's tons. I know I'm missing electricians, where like you could die like any day. Like any day you just work and then you're dead, and it's just part of your job. So just respect all that kind of stuff, you know, just respect people's lives, respect the stuff, and support sports, and show love, because shit's dangerous, man. You know, we see it happen so much that we kind of get numb to like, oh, it's safe, but it's kind of not safe, and anything could happen. So
In I've brought this up before, like, I know we all hate an early stoppage. I know I hate it. We all hate early stoppages. But that stuff like this is why there's early stoppages. You think those refs in there want to be the reason we're sharing someone else's picture? You know, like that's when there's an early stoppage, there's a silver lining, right? That a guy took less damage than he should have.
That's it. And I wanted to go to the opposite side of that. That's why I think refs, and I always defend them, I think we need to really, really make sure we're enforcing the rules. The rules exist for a reason. And unfortunately, Mr. Cologne's situation came from repeated fouls and maybe led directly to his situation. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But regardless, respect the sport, respect the rules, respect everybody. My brother Zach, you got any last things before we go our separate ways before we head out, my man?
No, so Rob and I are talking about scheduling stuff. We're just trying to figure it out. Let us know. We always have the most people at the end of the show. That's why we moved. That's why we moved the pump and dump to the end. Right? Let us know the times that work for you guys. Obviously, 137 of you on right now. If this is the best time for you, hit us up, message us. Always message us what you did and didn't like about the episodes. Share. We didn't do the streamer thing of like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share this, repost it during the show. But let us know. We're trying to make this show as good as we can. So let us know.
Absolutely. Your feedback is like critical. It's just two of us guessing what all of you want to see or know. So hit us up. Just like Zach said, anytime, whenever. Love to hear it. appreciate it all. And just a heads up, next week, not Monday. You know, this is the part of the program where I go Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Well, it's going to be Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, that's right. Slightly earlier time, slightly different day, same flavor in your ear. And we're going to have most likely, so I'll just say this, and if I get it wrong, whatever. But one of the sumo contestants will be on the show with us, and he's a former and current actually power slap dude with a like crazy good record. I think 6-1. So if you're into power slap, or you're into sumo, or you're just into our show, see us Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Glad to have you. It's been a good time. We'll see you next time. But in the meantime, stay fully hydrated. All right.